Let's go, baby. Magnificent news that just broke earlier this morning. See, I went to sleep. I laid my head down to sleep at 11:35 p.m. Evidently, the signing of Russell Wilson went down at like 11:40 something. So one way or another, I woke up to my phone blowing up with news of Russell Wilson coming to Pittsburgh, and I am overjoyed. Now, granted, I know a couple of people be like, well, that's kind of interesting. Weren't you ragging on him for the past 2 years? Weren't you constantly making fun of him? I made fun of him for his first season in Denver. The last season in Denver, go back and check the commentary. I was praising this man after that 50-point loss. They turned it around. At one point, they were amongst the hottest teams in the NFL when they won those 5 straight games. And Russell was balling. Understand what I'm saying? And what have I said throughout the course of the past 2 seasons since the retirement of Ben Roethlisberger? What did I say about the QB room? Nothing against Kenny Pickett. Right? But I would much rather, at this stage with this Pittsburgh Steelers team, have a has-been at quarterback than a never has. Furthermore, consider what our QB room looked like last year. Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph. Right now, the only quarterback prior to the signing of Russell Wilson was Kenny Pickett, who was under contract. Call it what it is. We had one of the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL, if not the worst. This is nothing but a win-win, and we get him for a veteran's minimum. The bulk share of this man's salary for 2024 is going to be paid by the Denver Broncos. We only pay him $1.2 million. So, furthermore, in the offseason, or I should say in the training camp, the competition of Kenny Pickett versus Russell Wilson, even if Russell Wilson is absolutely washed, don't you think it's better for Kenny Pickett to compete against a 9-time Pro Bowler, a guy who's a Super Bowl champion, a guy who's incredibly seasoned in the league than the likes of Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky? No disrespect to Mason Rudolph, all the disrespect to Mitch Trubisky, but call it what it is. This is nothing but a win-win. There is no downside to this deal. You should be ecstatic that we have somebody of that man's caliber. He's torched us the 2 times in which we played him. And on top of that, if you consider what he brings to the locker room. Now, I know what you think. He was moving a little Hollywood when he got to Denver. Mans may not be the ultimate team guy or whatever the case may be. But I would like to see more vets in that locker room. Because think back to those 2000 Steelers teams, the 3 Super Bowls that we had a chance to go to. Think about the veterans that was on that staff who was inside that locker room. We don't got that on the offensive side of the ball. We got one of the younger offenses in the league. Our defense, when we play at our best and at our capability, we are amongst the best defenses in the league. Furthermore, we got the best defensive player in the league in TJ Watt in his prime, robbed of another defensive player of the year, but that's not what the conversation is. So we have to be in win now mode. Paying Russell Wilson $1.2 million keeps a shit ton of millions in our pocket to go and spend. You know we need to beef up our linebacking core. You know we need to beef up our secondary. You know we got to go out there and get another center, possibly beef up our offensive line. You saw in the midst to the tail end of the season last year, we were amongst the best rushing attack in the NFL, if not the best for about like a 5-week span. George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, I still don't know how I feel about him. I wouldn't mind if we move on to him. Maybe make a move to go get T. Higgins. It just broke today that he requested a trade because I don't like Deontay's lack of effort here and there, and we don't need no knuckleheads inside the locker room. But we have an offense with weapons. Pat Fryermuth fell off the map because Matt Canada didn't know how to use him, but he's a very capable tight end. We got guys. Washington. We still got Austin. You got Warren and Harris in the backfield. We got weapons to where Russell Wilson will be able to unleash the best deep ball in the NFL when he's at his peak. So this is nothing but a win-win. I absolutely love it. People talk about it's possible copium, all this other stuff. Oh no. Consider what we would have had. If we go and we spend millions of dollars to go bring in somebody else, now we're lacking the amount of money to go elsewhere and spend to go get somebody. I absolutely love the deal. I absolutely love the deal, and I'm ecstatic. Now, am I going to sit over here and talk about Pittsburgh Steelers immediately to the Super Bowl? Not just yet. But we definitely can compete within the division to possibly go on there and win. We already have the Ravens number for all intents and purposes. I don't care what nobody say. We ain't lost to Lamar Jackson since what, 2019? I don't give a damn what nobody say. We beat this man time and time again. And the Baltimore Ravens. Cincinnati, we got to work on that. Cleveland, it's been like 500 or whatever the case may be. But if we can compete within the division and keep pace in the AFC, there's no denying that we could at least make it to the postseason. And we got somebody who's won playoff games, because it's been now, 8 years since we won a playoff game? 2016, we went to the AFC Championship, then got torched by motherfucking Tom Brady and Chris Hogan. It's time we get back to the steal away. And I'm not saying Russell Wilson is the savior and the piece that'll ultimately make it happen, but it sure as hell is a great starting point. So I absolutely love it. And for Kenny Pickett, the way I see it, I've said time and time again, when it comes to young quarterbacks entering the NFL, I don't mind if you sit behind a veteran for a year or two. Take a look at what happened in Green Bay. The countless different situations when you had an Aaron Rodgers sit behind a Brett Favre. You had a Jordan Love sit behind a Aaron Rodgers. You come out this year, you have a bit of poise. You showcase, hey, I actually know what the hell's going on. Why not have Kenny hold the clipboard if he doesn't win the quarterback competition in training camp? Hold the clipboard for Russell Wilson. Watch how this man goes about his business, and then if at the end of the season it doesn't, warrant him getting a re-signing, you have Kenny now come take over the team, and you have an entire year sitting behind somebody who you can learn from. Because call it what it is. Last year, like I said, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, what are they really teaching Kenny Pickett? So I love the move. I'm ecstatic about the move, and I'm happy about the move. Now, I would like to see us make some more additional pickups. Can we go get a Justin Simmons? Can we make a move to go get another cornerback? Can we go get ourselves a linebacker somewhere? Maybe grab a center from some sort of location? Get some people who's out there in the draft? Because if there's one person who I know can draft, or I should say one organization that I know can pick up wide receivers and offensive targets, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So even if we trade away Deontay Johnson, get that attitude out of here, get that impressionable mind that you could possibly mess around and have on George Pickens, get him up out of here. I know we could go get somebody else, whether it's through free agency, whether it's through trading with another organization, or maybe drafting somebody through the draft. I know we could replace individuals, but one way or another. Overall, what I'm trying to say here is picking up Russell Wilson is the right move. It's the perfect move. And for Mike Tomlin's sake, remember, they ain't renewing this man's contract. We got one more year. Everybody's in a situation where you got to bet on yourself. Mike Tomlin, last year of your contract, time to bet on yourself. Can you make something happen? We don't care about going 500. We care about Lombardi trophies and playoff wins. It's about time we do something. Russell Wilson, couple of years, you ain't make the playoffs. I think 3 straight consecutive seasons, you ain't make the playoffs. You've been playing relatively subpar. He played all right this season, but it's not to the Russell Wilson standard that we know Russell Wilson can play for. I'm sweating because I'm passionate about this son of a bitch. So one way or another, I need us to go out there and perform this year. And I know Russell Wilson is the first building block. And think about this squad that we have with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We went 10-7 with arguably the worst quarterback room in the NFL. You bring in Russell Wilson. If we can protect this man, there is no doubt to the heights that I believe our offense can perform at. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in NFL history. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to the play action. We have a very lethal run game that we were able to do without anybody's defense being afraid of whether it was Pickett, Rudolph, or Trubisky throwing the football. If Russell can come out bombs away to open up the goddamn season, Arthur Smith call plays, and he has something to prove as well. After a terrible stint out there in Atlanta where he couldn't, I don't believe he went over 500 in either of the seasons he's been over there. If Russell Wilson, Arthur Smith, and that Steelers offense can showcase we can throw the football and people actually respect the passing attack, best believe Najee Harris, who's had, 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, best believe this man can mess around and go for 1,400 yards. We could actually mess around and have Warren go over 1,000 as well. We can have a 3,000 all-purpose yard backfield. That's incredible. That'd be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. But really, we could be in a situation and Russell Wilson comes in and does what we believe he's capable of doing. This can take us to the next level. We don't need a quarterback to come in and be a Patrick Mahomes or maybe come in and be a goddamn Lamar Jackson, be the best quarterback in the NFL. We just need somebody who is substantially better than what we had. Because we've been saying for years, we're a quarterback away. There's some other pieces, of course, but we know for a fact we lacked at the quarterback position. And now we got a guy who we know is capable. He just got to go out there and prove it. And for Russell Wilson, this is my last message to you. Sir, you are a man with a first ballot Hall of Fame trajectory. You were a Super Bowl champion. Bonehead decision ended up leading to you not being a back-to-back champion. You played great throughout Seattle. I believe for about a 7-year stretch, you won a playoff game every single season. You leave Seattle, you go to Denver, things don't necessarily work out, and you went on the I Am Athlete podcast, sat across from Brandon Marshall and said you'd like to get 2 championships in 5 years. And here you are, released, now coming to Pittsburgh on a veteran minimum. You've got something to prove. Here's your opportunity to prove it. You walk into Titletown. You walk into an organization that's got those 6 Lombardis, that got a rich history of victories, that's got the top 3, top 2 most wins since the merger in 1970. It's time to perform. There's not a single other location that has this level of history, lineage, legacy that was actively hunting down a quarterback like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now you've entered those doors. So I would say to you, it's time. And Steeler Nation, let's ride. Steelers on 3, win on 6. 1, 2, 3 Steelers. 4, 5, 6 win. Let's go, baby. Russell, get that goddamn job done. Get the job done. Let's go.
Let's ride, baby.
You mean to tell me you watched the entire video but you haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button and become a member on Patreon or on YouTube to get access to the Discord. We're waiting for you in the Shadow Realm.
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Please! Please!
What are you waiting for, huh? Oh my god.